Hello everyone, welcome to Angel's Classroom. A good day to all of you. Today we are going to see a most important subject, ethics, and in that we are going to see a today's topic of environmental ethics. So, why do we need to study the environmental ethics? Everybody knows something about ethics, but what is the need to study about this environmental ethics? So, in the past previous years, engineers are known for their negligence of environment because of their activities. They take everything as granted and they just cut off their trees and build their own homes, their own buildings, industries, just like that. They are treating environment at its worst. But now there is more essential to ensure the protection of environment, and next one to prevent the degradation of environment and to slow down the exploitation of natural resources so that the futures can make use of that. So what is the definition of environmental ethics? So it is the study of moral issues concerning the environment and the moral perspectives of beliefs and attitudes concerning those issues. So, what is the most important document published in 1776? So, when I am asking this to Americans, few of them might say that the American independence is the most important happening of the year 1776. But few more psychological people say that the Wealth of Nations book is the most important when coming to the year 1776. So, what is this Wealth of Nations? A nation's independence is just a common thing because for everyone their own country is the pride. But why do the Americans itself saying that the Adam Smith Wealth of Nations book in such a great manner? So, when coming to this book, Adam Smith Wealth of Nation, this person Adam Smith has particularly quote about one philosophy and one theory. So the philosophy is laissez-faire theory and second one is the invisible hand. So what is laissez-faire philosophy? So laissez-faire, that word is a French word which means allow to do. So it is a policy of minimizing the government interventions in the economic affairs of the individuals and society so that the mass market become taxation free. So what is that invisible hand theory? So every business person, when we ask about what is the victory of what is the successful of your success to any businessman in the world, they might have said that it's because of their self interest. So the invisible hand theory is all about that. So the best outcome are created by the people looking out for themselves. So here comes the example for invisible hand. So this diagram shows about a butcher, a brewer, and a baker. So it's not because of the benevolence of butcher, the brewer, and the baker that we expect our dinner, but from their regard, it's because of their own interest. So all these three people intends only about his or her gain in their business, but invisibly they are promoting an end to the interventions of the society or else to the advantage of the society they are working for. So, how can we say that they are contributing something to the society? It's because by pursuing their own interest, they frequently promotes that of the society more effectively than when he really intends to promote it, but it also helps to the citizen to work themselves and to make a better finance. So these are some of the examples of invisible hand theory. So the first one is Wealth of Nations book. So from this Wealth of Nations book, I take a concept as land based wealth. So initially this is land based wealth, but when people continuously to do that, it will create a wealth like an assembly line production. For example, When considering these two diagrams, a single man thinking about 18 different steps to make a single small pin. But when this is happening with a 10 assembly line group of people, so they can make thousands and thousands of pin within a week. So it is applied to free market and capitalism through supply and demand and through the competition of scarce resources. So here comes some of the important unquotes that make to realize the environmental ethics. The first one is American Standard Society of Civil Engineers. Here it requires that the engineers shall hold paramount the safety, health and welfare of the public. And second one is sustainable development. What is the term sustainable development? It is the functioning to meet the present needs of the people and at the same time it ensures to meet the needs of future generation also. So before some years there is a company called Compaq Computer Corporation which is now merged with the HP. So earlier that is the company which is exhibited their full commitment towards the environmental health through the implementation of the concept design for environment. The next slide is duties towards environmental ethics. The first concept is environmental impact assessment. So we have to analyze what is the amount of wastage because of a particular industrial disposal or else the disposal from any manufacturing thing that results to be in the pollution of land, water, air and sometimes it's even the space too. The second duty is to establish the standards. So establishing standards in the sense we have to study and we have to fix the tolerable and actual pollution levels. And the third one is countermeasures. So we have to study what the protective or eliminating measures that are available for immediate implementation to avoid certain pollution which is caused because of some factors. And the fourth one is environmental awareness. So we have to study and we have also to educate the people on environmental practices, issues and possible remedies. Did you know about the world's worst environmental catastrophe? Yes, it's the worst oil spill that happened on March 24, 1989. Exxon Valdez spill is the world's worst oil pollution accident ever. Oil tanker named Exxon Valdez stuck with in Alaska's Prince William Sound carrying 50 million gallons of oil. When it is fetched up on Below Reef, it tore at its bottom and spilled 11 million gallons of oil at the rate of 1,000 gallons a second. These are some worst disasters that happen in our environment. The first one is plastic waste disposal. Second one is e-waste disposal. Third one is industrial waste disposal. Fourth one is depletion of ozone layer. Fifth one is global warming. And sixth one is acid rain. The first thing we are going to see about is plastic waste disposal. In our country, several crores of plastic bottles are used as containers for water and oil. And these plastic bags are used to pack different materials ranging from vegetables to gold ornaments. Hardly any of these are recycled. They ended up in gutters, roadside, and agriculture field. In all these destinations, they created havoc. The worst still is burning of plastic materials in the streets and camphor along with plastic cover in temples since they release toxic fumes and threaten seriously the air quality. Cities and local administration have to act on this, collect and arranged for recycling through the industry. The next factor is e-waste disposal. So as the name itself mentioned, it's electronic waste disposal. The parts of computers and electronic devices that have served as later on parts, it produces a serious environmental issue for all developing countries, including India, because the scrap of this e waste disposal contains highly toxic elements such as lead, cadmium, and mercury. Even the radioactive waste will lose 89% of toxicity after 200 years, by which time it will be no more toxic than some natural minerals in the ground. It will lose 99% of remaining toxicity over the next 30,000 years. The toxic chemical agents such as mercury, arsenic, and cadmium retain its toxicity and diminish forever. But these scraps are illegally imported by unscrupulous agencies to salvage some commercially valuable inputs. Instead of spending and managing on the scrap, unethical organizations sell them to countries such as our own country, India. This is strictly in violation of the Basel Convention of the United Nations Environment Programme, which has banned the movement of hazardous waste. A recent report of the British Environment Agency has revealed that the discarded computers, television set, refrigerators, mobile phones, and electrical equipments have been dispatched to India and Pakistan in large quantity for ultimate disposal in environmentally unacceptable ways and at great risk to the health of the labor. Even in the West, the electronic junk has been posing the problems and a strong regulation, including the pressure on industries to set up disassembling facilities. The next one is ban on disposal in landfill sites. Third one is legislation for recycling requirements for these junk, and policy incentives for eco-friendly design are essential for every country. Every country needs regulations to define the waste and a few measures to stop illegal imports and institutional structures to handle safe disposal of domestic industrial scrap. The third one is industrial waste disposal. There has been a lot of complaints through the media against the Sterlite copper smelting plant in Tuticorin, against its pollution. When India companies imported the discarded French warship for disposal, the poisonous asbestos compounds were expected to pollute the atmosphere, besides exposing the labor to a great risk during the disposal. When Indian companies imported the discarded French warship for disposal, the poisonous asbestos compounds were expected to pollute the atmosphere, besides exposing the labor to a great risk during the disposal. But the government did not act immediately. Fortunately for Indians, the French government intervened and withdrew the ship, and serious threat was averted. The fourth one is depletion of ozone layer. The ozone layer protects the entire planet from the ill effects of ultraviolet radiation and is vital for all the living organisms in the world. But it is eaten away by chlorofluorocarbons such as freon emanating from the refrigerators, air conditioners, and aerosol can spray. This has caused also skin cancer to sunbathers in the western countries. Further, NO and NO2 gases were also found to react with the ozone. Apart from engineers, the organizations laws of country, and local administration and market mechanisms are required to take up concreted efforts to protect the environment. The largest ozone layer hole formed over the Arctic last month is now closed. The reason stated behind the formation of ozone hole is a phenomenon known as polar vortex. It is basically a low pressure area surrounded by cold air at the poles. See the diagram on March 26, 2020 and April 26, 2020. The reason stated behind the formation of ozone hole is a phenomenon known as polar vortex. It is basically a low pressure area surrounded by cold air at its poles. So see these diagrams. The ozone hole layer that is formed on March 26, 2020 and April 26, 2020, this layer is almost covered. However, during the time of its formation, the atmospheric monitoring services stated that the Arctic polar vortex has been exceptionally strong and long lived. Moreover, the agency said the temperatures in the Arctic stratosphere was recorded to be very low for several months at the start of 2020. This resulted in the formation of polar stratospheric clouds associated with polar vortex, which caused high ozone depletion over the Arctic. According to the reports, the largest ozone hole could have posed a direct threat to humans if it got extended towards the populated areas in the southern region. The ozone layer protects us from the direct harmful ultraviolet radiation of the sun. The next thing is global warming, and this is a small diagram of before and after COVID 19. Over the past 30 years, the earth has warmed by zero point 0.6 degrees Celsius, but over the last 100 years, it has been warmed by zero point 0.8 degrees Celsius. It is likely to push up the temperature by 3 degrees Celsius by 2100, according to NASA studies. The US administration has accepted the reality of global ultimate change in the climate that has been associated with stronger hurricanes, severe droughts, intense heat waves, and the melting of polar ice. Greenhouse gases, notably carbon dioxide, emitted by motor vehicles and coal fired power plants, trap the heat like the glass walls of a greenhouse that causes the earth to warm up a little more. Delegates from the six countries, namely Australia, China, India, Japan, South Korea, and US, met in California in April 2006 for the first working session of the Asia Pacific Partnership on Clean Development and Climate. These six countries account for about half of the world's emission of climate heating greenhouse gases. And sixth one is acid rain. The large emission of sulfur oxides and nitrous oxide are being released into the air from the thermal power stations using the fossil fuels and several processing industries. These gases form compounds with water in the air and precipitates as rain or snow onto the earth. The acid rain in some parts of the world has caused sufficient damage to the fertility of the land and to the human beings. And these are some effects before and after the acid rain. The first one is the Lichen Buddha statue that is located in China. So this is the statue before the acid rain, and the right hand side statue is the figure after acid rain. And this second diagram is the George Washington picture who is a former US president. So this is the diagram before acid rain, and the next one is the diagram after acid rain. And next one is the seven wonders of the world, Taj Mahal. The left hand side is the image that has happened before the acid rain, and that becomes a little bit yellowish after the acid rain. So here are some good things that happened during the COVID-19. So the India Gate, which was more polluted earlier, has returned back to its original form. And these are some images of the Ganges River, which was polluted yearly, has now become pure water that can be able even to drink. Thank you for being here today.